Well, the first week of Beyond the Gates is in the books, and what a soapy good time it has been, I think, in my opinion. I think they've done a very good job in their first week. And as far as like soap opera debuts goes, one of the first best weeks and certainly modern American soap opera debuts, like if you're talking about Passions, especially Port Charles, Santa Barbara, even. I think Beyond the Gates did a better job than those soap operas in their first week on the air. I think today, since I have two episodes to talk about, last time I talked about episode 3 on Wednesday, so we have to talk about Thursday and Friday's episode today, and kind of the week overall. I'm going to just kind of go by my favorite characters so far. And my favorite character so far is Leslie, or Mona. She has a hidden identity name. She hasn't got all the airtime, but the airtime she does get, I think she's done a great job of being an intriguing villain. In fact, that was the last person we talked about on Wednesday after she used her motorcycle to blind a driver and make that driver crash. I speculated that she could have killed someone already, but turns out that person, Laura, who was Nicole's assistant, was just injured in the crash, but will not be able to work for Nicole for the next several weeks. And thus, this is Leslie's plan to have her daughter, Eva, start to work for Nicole and be Nicole's assistant. And as we found out in Friday's episode, one of 3 cliffhangers we kind of got was the illusion that Eva is Ted's daughter, who is Nicole's husband, and that seems to be why her mother, Leslie, wants to get Eva involved in Ted's family's business. If Ted is her baby daddy, and if Eva really is his daughter, then I think that's going to bring the dynamic of Nicole's perfect life, perfect family starting to fall apart, which seems to be what Leslie wants. And I still think that a lot of our comparisons of Leslie being the Sheila Carter of this show still stands true. And that's a CBS staple. Anytime a soap opera on CBS has thrived, they've had a solid villain. And you could say there's plenty of villains on this show so far, from Bill to even Hayley and Dani, as I've talked about earlier this week. But Leslie's giving that kind of villain that will be cold and calculated, like Sheila and Young and the Restless. Guiding Light had Roger. When Guiding Light was thriving, Roger was possibly the best soap opera villain of all time. He was a very complicated individual over his off and on time on Guiding Light. As the World Turns had James Stenbeck, even though he went off the rails at times. In the height of the 80s, he was a great villain too. So I like that this show has their CBS staple villain already. And I think that is Leslie, whose real name is Dana. But as in Friday's episode, we found out that Eva, the whole plan of them is Eva saying Leslie's not her real mom. That she never knew her real mom, but she's the only mom she's ever known. I'm assuming that's not true, and that's to throw everybody else off. I don't know the reason for that, but I look forward to untangling that web. The next character we'll touch upon, I still really do like the character of Naomi. As far as the heroes on the show go, I think she can be considered that for now. And she's smart, and I don't like on these soaps when the good people have to be dumbed down to help the villains. But what I like about Naomi, and this was on Thursday's episode, was her reading her father, Bill, who was trying to, get his I'm sorry's into Naomi about hooking up and having an affair with her best friend and cheating on her mother with Naomi's best friend. Naomi wanted no part of it, stood her ground, hates her father, should hate her father for this situation. We don't get Naomi and Hayley interactions yet, which I think is missing from the show, but I do hope we get to see that added dynamic soon. But yeah, I like Naomi standing her ground with her father. on yesterday's episode. And I guess that has to bring us to Dani, who continues to be the driving force of all the drama this week. And as the week went on, my speculation that she's psychotic, I've been saying all week, I think just comes out to be more true and more true as the week has gone along. I mean, look, in 1 week, the first week of the show, she's punched someone, slapped someone, put all of Bill's shit on the floor from his desk, threw a drink at him, and then ends the week with a gun at the wedding. She's a lot, but she is the driving force of the drama for now. I do hope we get a bit of a breather from her in the next week or two, because she's been high-strung 5 episodes in a row. But I can't say I don't love it. And I think without her, it would have been obviously a more boring week, since she is the driving force of the drama. As I said, we end the Friday cliffhanger, even though there was a few different cliffhangers. The main one was her with the gun at the wedding, shooting it. We don't know if she actually shot someone, or if she's just being her chaotic, dramatic self, but we'll find out. Hopefully she didn't actually shoot someone. I'm assuming nobody's dying, but I also don't want to see like some sort of trial or jail time right now. It's a little too soon for that in the soap. We also saw her in yesterday's episode with Chelsea. Dani was being the overbearing mother, kind of taking out her problems in her own life out on Chelsea, who is a model who doesn't like modeling anymore because her mother makes it so terrible, because she doesn't like the way Chelsea does things, and Dani tries to be controlling about it. It was good to see Chelsea do her job, even though she just wants to be an influencer. She wants to start a purse line with Kat, her cousin. But that also led to Dani and Andre having a little thing. Andre was at that photo shoot as the photographer. And as we've seen all week, Andre is the player of the show. They keep teasing him with Ashley. Maybe that will make Ashley more interesting. But we've seen Ashley already know that he's a player and not wanting any part of that. But then him and Dani end up staying back after the photo shoot, and Andre comes on to her. They dance a little, and they kiss, and they end up hooking up. And this is scandalous because he is Ted's nephew, so he's basically Dani's brother-in-law's nephew. I mean, I think you would think that would be scandalous in this sort of place where this soap opera takes place if that news came out. Now, Dani seemed to just want it to be a one-night stand, and if Andre's such a player, he probably does too. She didn't want his car to be seen in the driveway because it could be a scandal. We'll see where that leads. I thought they had chemistry, and I think that they will probably tease that more going forward, as they also continue to tease Andre and Ashley too. Hopefully this soap is like the old days, where they would test couples for a while and then go with the more popular thing. I see a lot of chatter online that they like Dani and Bill's chemistry too, even though it's very toxic. And maybe those two still end up together soon, by the end of the year or next year. And that's possible too. There's a lot of possibilities for the character of Dani. She did come off very pathetic in Friday's episode, though, today, before the wedding. You know, you would think her finding a one-night stand with Andre would have maybe got her to finally move on from this Bill and Hayley fiasco. But it didn't. She went to Bill with some final plea to get the family back together and call off the wedding to Hayley, his child bride. And that didn't go well for her. Bill just kind of humiliated her in that moment. And I think that it was a big part of leading to her going home to get the gun before the wedding. Where Hayley is concerned, they continue to try to write her as naive, But I also find that they present her as seducing still. She's always dressed scantily clad in her wedding dress. Her titties were out. Um, so they continue to write her as the homewrecker, but also allegedly naive. I don't feel sorry for her yet, and I'm not going to feel sorry for her. Not that I dislike her. In fact, I don't dislike any character so far, which is a good sign. Because when a soap opera is bad, I tend to hate most characters. In this case, so far, everyone is playing their parts very well. Sure, there's some boring people. I still find the token white couple, Ashley and Derek, pretty boring. Um, the token gay couple, I hate to say it, are also pretty boring. A lot of that is because of the lack of chemistry in those two couples too, though. I still don't find Curtis and Smitty to have chemistry. We got an illusion in today's episode, I believe, of Smitty on the phone with someone. Maybe he's having an affair or something. He's clearly up to something. We also got an illusion from Bill that they've really been beating this on the head all week, is that Curtis likely killed someone. We saw his nightmares earlier in the week. And this seems to be Bill's blackmail to get the family to the wedding. So there's interesting stuff with both of those characters. Hopefully it makes them more interesting as a couple. But as I was saying, I don't dislike anyone yet. There are some more boring characters, but nobody hateable. And I don't know if that's all good. Sometimes you need a villain you can love to hate. But at this point, I like all of these characters' villainous actions. I understand them all. Dani is psychotic, as I've been saying all week. Bill is power hungry, I guess you can say. And then Leslie wants her revenge for something, with the whole Nicole's family being so happy. Some other little odds and ends to talk about before I end this video. After the photo shoot, Chelsea was at the bar. A lot of them were at the bar. We got to see Naomi and Jacob on a date, like a double date with Ashley and Derek, because they're all friends. That was good to see. It's good to see a friend group like this on a soap opera again. I don't feel like we get this enough in modern soaps. But Chelsea was also at the bar with Kat for a while, and then Chelsea was getting eyes at the bar from a guy. Ended up leaving with that guy. We haven't gotten a follow-up on that yet. I don't know if that will be bad news for Chelsea. But in one of my videos before this started airing a month ago, I said I wanted to see the younger characters be young, and I'm glad we're getting that. Vanessa continues to be presented as, I don't know what story they're going for. She's not getting a lot of time. I don't know if she's just a horny housewife who's unhappy with her marriage. I guess that's the way they're going. We had a scene with her and Nicole checking out this Diego guy who teaches workout classes or something. We'll see where they go with Vanessa. I do find her entertaining, though. We found out that Jacob has some nepotism with his job at the police force because his father's the commissioner, and he's getting a police partner who's supposed to be an oldie but a good veteran, and he's hoping to learn from him. So they continue to set up a lot of different story threads, which most soap operas do when they begin in the first week. It's a matter of the follow-up in those soap opera threads to see if they even follow up on them all. Some soaps haven't done that in the past. Or if they do, and it leads to bigger stories in the future. The other cliffhanger on Friday's episode was Andre, Ashley, and a pregnant woman in the elevator at the hospital when there's a power outage or the elevator goes out. They're trapped in the elevator together. So obviously Andre and Ashley are going to have to help the pregnant woman have her baby, probably. I don't think Andre and Ashley have chemistry, but we'll see where they go with those two. Katie McLean, a soap opera veteran, premiered in episode 5 today. She's playing Dani's best friend, Pamela, I guess one of her best friends, because she seems to be good friends with Vanessa too. But we didn't get to see a lot of her. Another contract player. We saw him yesterday at the party that Bill threw for Hayley in the wedding. Thomas Navarro, he's an attorney that works for Bill. At the wedding, he was coming on to Kat, so another little couple teased there as well. And I think those were covering the main things of the past 2 episodes and the week as a whole. I still contend a great week, a great first week. I'm looking forward to next week. There's a lot of good stuff to come out of this week. The fallout from whatever Dani did with the gun at the wedding. The fallout of Eva starting to work for Nicole, where Leslie wants Nicole's perfect life to crumble. I think we're going to get a lot of good acting in that story because I think everyone involved in that story is some of the best acting we're getting on the show so far. So that'll be good to watch. That's all for now. Looking forward to continuing this new soap opera.